Hello, Jody Mayberry here in Lee Cockerell's office in Orlando, Florida. Lee has books everywhere on his bookshelves, lots of books. But we're going to talk specifically about 4 books today, and they're the books that Lee wrote. So we're going to go over each one individually, and we're going to find out why Lee wrote them.
Well, Creating Magic was my first book. It came out in '08. It took me 2 years to write it and get it approved and get it published. And I wrote that because it's about leadership, and it's about how Disney thinks about leadership, and it's about the 10 strategies that if you follow them in your business, you can, as I always say, create Disney magic in your business too. Because at Disney, we believe it starts with leadership. The customer's important, but leadership's more important, because you got to get leadership in place so they take care of the cast members, and the cast members take care of the guests because they want to, not because they have to, and then the business results come out the other end. And so this book has been extremely popular. It's in 18 languages now around the world. It's in China, Russia, Japan, Indonesia, Korea. It's in French. It's just all over the place, because people around the world are finding that it has value. Because leadership, in the end of the day, on an individual basis, doesn't change too much. And so this has been a great book for people who want to get to be a better leader. It's in a story form, easy to read, and we hear every day about it somewhere else. I just sold a 4-book program to China. They're going to publish all 4 of my books in a set. Think about, if you're trying to be a better leader, or you're trying to get your people to be a better leader, many organizations use this book as a book club within the company. They get all their managers to read it. We hear about that every single week, that they're studying this to try to figure out new strategies for their own business. So it's pretty great, I must say. Here's one in Indonesia. It was published in Indonesian. Here's one in Japan. That's what the cover looks like in Japan. It's really a cute book and well done. This one's in Korean. Here's one in China. They kind of put the author on the cover, so I like that one best of all. and this is Portugal, in Portugal. And then we have another one in Portuguese, but in Brazil, because the languages are slightly different. And then we have another one here that's come out recently, again in Chinese, and Russian. We got the Russian copy now, and we got the Spanish, and that's very popular in Mexico, South America, all over the place. So, and then we just had a new publisher do all 3 books in, about 3 of my books down in Brazil. So there's Time Management in Brazil, in Portuguese. This one is the 39 Rules, the Customer Rules, and this one is Creating Magic. So it's amazing. Whoever thought? I thought I'd be lucky to get it published in the U.S., and now I'm finding out that people kind of like it all over the place, because everybody loves Disney. And wherever you go in the world, they know Disney, and they know Disney executes really well. So there must be some, if these are the kinds of things they did at Disney, maybe they should read this, because they'll get some great ideas on how to manage their business better and how to lead their people better. And so it's been fun to see those. When they come in the mail, I'm always excited to see how the next one's going to look in that country or this country. And I'm working now to try to get it done in German. And so there's always an opportunity at these book fairs to sell it in different languages. Customer Rules, Random House asked me to write this because they published Creating Magic out of New York, and at first I didn't want to do it because it's hard work, and then I decided to do it, and this one only took about 9 months, and it's really 39 rules about, if you follow them, they don't cost anything to implement these rules. These are things you can do in your business that will make a significant difference from your competition. And this has become really taken off recently, that people are using this all over. Schools are using it and Creating Magic. Universities, it's in the classroom. It's being used as a textbook like Creating Magic is. And we're just hearing back from people all over that these are simple rules, that they just need to read them, understand them, then train their people how to implement them. And at the end of the day, like the cover says, the customer is in charge. The customer rules. So that was fun, and it's very short. You can read any chapter at any time. You don't have to go right straight through the book. Time management magic, because I am a big deal about time management. I learned it back in the 80s. I started practicing it. I started teaching it. I've taught it to hundreds of thousands of people. It's a seminar I still give today. I guarantee you this is the most needed book in society today, from college student to high school students to adults, because there's so much coming at us. It's hard to keep up. You got to get organized. And this is a simple system for doing it. You'll always kick yourself for not doing it earlier in your life, because once you get a system where you keep your promises and you're credible and you're reliable and you set a good example and you do the right things, life gets a lot easier. And so this has been a great one. We even have a clock on the back to tell you the kinds of things you should remember to focus on in your life: faith, family, health, money, goes on and on, education, your career. Are you putting enough time against those things so you won't have regrets later? So this book's been extremely popular. I wrote Career Magic because I wanted people to understand the obstacles you're going to run into in life, in your career, in your personal life. So I wrote this book and talk about the different obstacles I ran into, from being fired once to being passed over once for a promotion, to all those things happened to me. They'll happen to a lot of you out there. Probably half of it was my fault. Maybe half of it wasn't my fault. It didn't matter whose fault it was, because at the end of the day, you got to pick yourself up and go back and get back with it. And then I made a lot of errors, a lot of mistakes. I had times when I was kind of depressed about what happened in my career, and then all of a sudden, the last 16 years, I was at Disney, and it was spectacular. So I guess by the time I got to Disney, I'd learned all the mistakes I'd made, and I just tried to write those up in here and to tell people, here's how you should handle those obstacles. Don't get depressed, don't give up, go back out there, pick yourself up, and move on. And so that's been fun to write. How to overcome obstacles and have a good career.